From the exclusive footage of the Renacita exploration quest that we got a few days ago, we got to see a little bit of Roccia's gameplay. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down her gameplay according to what we have so far so that you know what to expect when her banner gets officially released in case you want to pull for her. Keep in mind that everything I say in this video is purely from observation of the footage, so there might be some minor differences after her release. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel. Roccia will be a limited 5-star resonator who wields a gauntlet of the Havoc element. As I mentioned in my Carlotta early gameplay analysis video, Kuro has shown that a character's design absolutely has nothing to do with their element, because if you take a look at her drip marketing image that dropped about a month ago, you would easily think that she will be an electro wielder. In terms of her style of gameplay, she is quite similar to Jeji, who modifies her forte stacks with a skill cast to teleport 3 times while doing decent damage. Speaking of Jeji, Roccia will be our first Havoc sub DPS who buffs Havoc damage. If you take a look at this clip right here, you can see that after her outro skill activation, you can see her signature icon on Havoc Rover's forte bar, indicating that she has gained some kind of buff from Roccia. If I had to guess what the buff will be, I'm definitely sure it's going to be 20% Havoc damage amplification and 25% basic attack damage amplification. The 20% Havoc damage amplification is quite obvious because Jeji, Changli, and Yinlin has the same outro skill buff, but they buff their respective elements including Glacial, Fusion, and Electro. I guessed 25% basic attack damage amplification because the only limited 5-star Havoc damage dealer that we have in the game is Camellia, and her ephemeral forte skill, which makes up a high percentage of her personal damage, is considered as basic attack damage. And the Sweet Dream buff that you get from button mode also increases the scaling on her basic attacks. Havoc Rover's Dark Surge also gives her access to high basic attack scalings, and Kuro is known to give Rover special treatment unlike other popular titles, so there's a high percentage chance that the second part of Roccia's outro buff will be basic attack damage amplification. Roccia's gameplay is centered around building forte stacks with her basic attacks and resonance skill. As you can see from this part of the clip, she had about half of her forte stacks generated, but when she used her resonance skill, she was able to regenerate a decent amount in addition to the amount that she already had. This clearly shows that in order to optimize her gameplay, you don't need to completely generate all of her normal forte stacks by using her basic attacks to be able to use her forte ability. I'll figure out how to properly generate her forte stacks as fast as possible to reduce her on-field time once she is officially released, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell icon so that you can get it as soon as I post it. There's also a high chance that she'll be able to gain forte stacks after an intro skill, which is something very common to sub DPS characters that buff their respective elements like Changli, Yinlin, and Jeji. After using her resonance skill, all the forte stacks that was completely generated will turn into a different kind of stacks. Let's call these stacks Mamma Mia stacks for now. Every Mamma Mia stack that she gets after her Tornado resonance skill will allow her to perform a plunge attack by pressing your basic attack or the button assigned to your resonance skill as shown right here. Her Concerto energy regeneration is also very good because the plunge attacks that she does from her forte ability when she has Mamma Mia stacks regenerate high amounts of Concerto energy, so I'm pretty sure she'll have the Concerto efficiency role in her kit after release. One of the most unique things about her is her resonance skill, which serves as a crowd control utility. From this part of the clip, you can see that the Electro Predator was a bit far away from the group, but when she used her resonance skill, it completely sucked everyone inside, which is absolutely amazing. After a close observation, it seems that she has a special heavy attack that allows her to charge up and launch herself up in the air. This allows all the normal forte stacks she has to turn into Mamma Mia stacks, so she can use her forte ability by plunging just as she can by using her resonance skill. She can also regenerate some of the normal forte stacks when the charging animation begins, so you're not limited to only her basic attacks or her resonance skill to generate normal forte stacks. This part of her kit actually comes in really handy if her skill goes on cooldown for any reason, because you have other means of turning her normal forte stacks into Mamma Mia stacks simply by using a heavy attack, which will launch her up in the air. It seems Kuro is adding more features in the kit of future characters to make it much easier to use their Forte ability, which acts as a quality of life change. Older characters like Jeji heavily depend on her resonance skill to place the left and right phantasmic imprint. If her skill goes on cooldown for any reason before she gains full Forte stacks, it limits you to only the middle phantasmic imprint, which you can place by holding your basic attack in midair or after a dodge counter. Fortunately, Roccia does not have such limitations if you mess up your rotations by putting your skill on a cooldown. Her Resonance Liberation is nothing special but a nuke type hit damage, but we'll see if the scaling is good after her release. Now let's discuss her pull value. I think Kuro is actually playing smart with new characters, because if Roccia did not have this overpowered crowd control ability, she would have been an easy skip, because Camellia and Rover has access to Sanhua and Danjin as sub DPS characters who can deal decent amount of damage with a very short on-field time. The characters that we have in the game so far who possess superior crowd control ability include Jian and Yang Yang, but Jian is a main DPS, so you have to build a team around him to do damage instead of putting him in your team just for crowd control. Yang Yang's crowd control utility is stuck in her Resonance Liberation, so it's not something that you can use every 10 seconds like Roccia's Resonance skill, which comes in very handy when up against multi-wave content in the Overdrive Zone or the Hazard Zone. So at the moment, I would say that Roccia's best selling point is her crowd control utility in terms of meta gameplay, but I think she'll be a very fun character to play with because of her Forte ability that gives you access to plunge attacks, so feel free to pull for her if you like her gameplay. But like I said in the video, this is purely based on gameplay footage that we have so far, so there might be some aspect of her kit that significantly increases her pull value. Let's use the 5-star sub DPS characters that we have so far as an example. Jeji and Yinlin have access to coordinated attacks on top of the buffing capabilities that they provide, which makes them viable in teams where the main DPS requires coordinated attacks like Jinshi. Changli can play two roles in your team building as a main DPS and a sub DPS due to her high damage potential, even at S0. Roccia might have some of these unique utilities aside from her outro skill buff and her crowd control capability, so we'll just have to wait and find out. If you're someone who don't fancy Danjin's sweaty gameplay, you can pull for Roccia as well, just in case future Havoc DPS characters have no synergy with Sanhua. I'll provide you guys with a detailed breakdown of her kit with a damage showcase, advanced mechanics, and best build available when her banner comes out, so be sure to look forward to it by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. For now, this is just an early analysis, so don't take everything that I have said so far as a general fact, but just something to consider when her banner gets out. Also, be sure to check out the community Discord if you need any help with the game or you just want a place to chill or hang out. Link will be in the channel description. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.